Joe Biden, you're not a president. You're a piece of shit.
There were other big-name South Carolina politicos at the Trump rally, not just Lindsey Graham.
A friend of mine, that voice was so beautiful, as he called it out in Congress. Congressman Joe Wilson, I thought it was brilliant.
Remember Joe Wilson? That voice, it was so beautiful. Do you remember Joe Wilson? He's still in Congress, Congressman Joe Wilson. It was 2009, a joint session of Congress when President Barack Obama introduced his new health care plan. And Congressman Joe Wilson from South Carolina, who, by the way, started his illustrious career working for civil rights leader Strom Thurmond. That would be, civil rights for white people. Anyway, he's now a congressman. Congressman Joe Wilson, back in 2009, was worried that Obamacare would include health care for undocumented immigrants and, even worse, their children. This is Joe Wilson's great moment, that beautiful voice where he called it out.
There are also those who claim that our reform efforts would ensure illegal immigrants. This, too, is false. The reforms I'm proposing would not apply to those who are here illegally. It's not true.
You lie, said the former Strom Thurmond staffer to America's first African-American president. You lie. This was back in 2009, a much simpler time. Listen again to Congressman Joe Wilson's, what did Trump just call it? His beautiful voice calling out like a choir of mellifluous cross-burning angels. Watch then Vice President Joe Biden and Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Watch their reaction. The look on both their faces, by the way, are pre-facelifts. Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi pre-facelift, so you're seeing genuine shock. Look at their faces. They've never seen anything like that. They once saw Steny. Well, I won't do that. Anyway, that's their face. They've never seen anything that appalling, except for the time Steny Hoyer. No, I'm not going to do it. Newt Gingrich, back in 1994, kind of started this performative vitriol. But in 2009, back then, Joe Wilson's heckle was still shocking. You got to understand, this was shocking. Speaker Pelosi, and rightfully so, wanted Congressman Joe Wilson, Republican. She wanted him to apologize to the Congress for humiliating the entire legislative branch of our government. You're not supposed to do that. How we talk to each other, especially in Congress, is the difference between civil discourse and civil war. But Congressman Joe Wilson from South Carolina was done apologizing.
It was a town hall moment for me.
Oh, it was a harmless town hall moment. This is Arlen Specter almost getting punched, Republican, during a town hall during the summer of 2009. Members of the Tea Party bust in disruptors to these town hall meetings to physically threaten members of Congress at town hall after town hall. They destroyed town halls with angry diatribes against Obamacare. You had these Republican Tea Party troglodytes screaming, "Get the government's hands off my Medicare." The Tea Party, Dick Armey, Freedom Works, and the Koch brothers, they succeeded in making town halls so boisterous and dangerous, members of Congress decided to hold fewer and fewer town halls, which means less democracy, which was the entire point of this AstroTurf, Koch brothers funded Tea Party movement. So Congressman Joe Wilson said when he was screaming at the president, "You lie," he was having a harmless, what was it called? A town hall moment, as though screaming at the president, it's part of our democracy. It's part of our democracy to get all worked up and destroy our democracy.
I believe in civility. I believe in civility on the floor. My whole life has been built around civility.
It's been built all around civility. What did you think President Obama was lying about when it came to Obamacare?
Would include illegal aliens or not.
Such a civil term for such a civil man. Children, so civil, calling them illegal. Children, illegal. You, Congressman Joe Wilson, are most certainly the exemplar of Southern civility.
The bills that are before Congress would include illegal aliens. And I think this is wrong. People who have come to our country and violated laws, we should not be providing full health care services.
Yes, civil people like you want these people to get sick and die, because that's what Jesus would want. Tell me what you've dedicated your pro-life life to.
My whole life has been built around civility.
You lie, as you said.
Congressman Wilson's wife took to the web to defend her husband.
And I said, Joe, who's the nut that hollered out, "You lie," or "You liar"? And he goes, "It was me." And I said, "No, really, who did it?"
That's how it defends her husband. That's how she defends him, by calling him a nut.
I said, Joe, who's the nut that hollered out, "You lie"?
Like, who's the nut is an excuse for horribly inappropriate, and let's be honest, racist behavior. He's just a nut. The same way Trump, just a nut. You know, for a party of homophobes, Republicans sure love their nuts. But here is what this was really all about in the end. Nancy Cordes from CBS News back in 2009.
Back in his conservative home district, Wilson is getting pats on the back, along with hundreds of thousands of dollars in new campaign contributions.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in new campaign contributions just from being a nut. So now, being a nut is what it takes to be in charge of the entire Republican Party. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene back in 2021. She lost all her committee assignments, if you'll remember, after coming to Washington. She was a freshman, and she threatened violence against the Democratic leadership. She had nothing but time on her hands, so she decided to take to Twitter in the middle of one of her workouts to offer this assessment of Joe Biden's handling of the 2021 pullout from Afghanistan.
Joe Biden, you're not a president. You're a piece of shit.
In just 12 years, Republican discourse has gone from this to
Joe Biden, you're not a president. You're a piece of shit.
Joe Wilson. He's still in Congress. He's a backbencher because all he did was call Barack Obama a liar. But Marjorie Taylor Greene calls Joe Biden a piece of shit, and the campaign contributions come flowing in. And that is why Chris Lehman over at The Nation writes that Marjorie Jewish Space Laser Greene is positioning herself as Donald Trump's pick for vice president. On April 10th, 2017, when Republicans were trying to repeal Obamacare, lying by saying they had an alternative, Joe, you lie, Wilson, he held a town hall to explain why he wanted to repeal Obamacare. And he experienced, what's that term? What do you have?
It was a town hall moment for me.
Spreading lies about Obamacare to his constituents back in 2017. Voters have a long memory. So you were trying to sell the idea of getting rid of Obamacare. And what was that noise called?
It was a town hall moment for me.
Yes, it was a town hall moment. And your town hall moment, it turned into this. And he couldn't finish his town hall because of that little town hall moment.
Joe Biden, you're not a president. You're a piece of shit.
Leave a comment in the comments section down below.